Hello everyone.
Hi, my name is Cecilia De Silva. I'm the Senior Vice President, PMO at Kinara Capital. Vacation time is dear to all of us, and we travel to our favorite destinations. Though some of the destinations may be common to us, it's quite possible that our experiences may vary from one another because we would have taken a road that was not trodden earlier, or probably because the mode of travel is different from what others have taken. Likewise, as PMO professionals, our project goals may be common and typical in nature. However, our experiences and learnings may vary depending upon the industry that we are part of and the nature of businesses that we manage. In a fintech world, the role of PMOs is becoming more and more crucial. How the PMOs are partnering with the business leaders to transform their strategic goals into projects and helping them make their dreams come true and helping them achieve the scales of economies. To find out this and much more, do register right away for the PMO Insight series on 5th of May at 4 p.m. IST. Thank you.
With this, I welcome you all for the PMO Insight series. Once again, we are live. This program is also there on our YouTube channel. You can watch it live. Please pass it on to your friends and your colleagues as well. I see a good number of participants joining. Hello to everyone. Hope you all are doing good and gearing up for your weekend. Um, My name is Sri. I am one of the lead volunteer and also director of communications with PMOGA India Community Hub. Just before we could go through, we'll invite Gaurav on stage to invite Cecilia for this session. Before that, let me share a few minutes about PMOGA and what we have been doing so far, and a couple of functions, a couple of events which we organize across India. So PMOGA is otherwise called as PMO Global Alliance, which was founded in 2017 and is quickly spreading across the world. It is one of the largest and most relevant global community for project management officers and PMO professionals. Uh, this is a global community, and we have our India Community Hub, which focuses primarily on developing, grooming PMO professionals and PMO project management officers across all the corporates and organizations in India. That is PMOGA India Hub for you. So what does PMOGA India Hub does, right? So there is a PMOGA, there is a World PMO Awards function which happens every year. Similarly, PMO India Hub organizes two flagship events. That is one, PMO Insights, where we invite seasonal professionals, especially from project management office background, to the stage, help them, request them to share their experiences and also give some more insights about budding professionals. That is PMO Insights. That is where you are today. And we very shortly we are going to have Cecilia to start with her insight session. And the most flagship event which we do apart from this is the PMO India Awards. So for last year we had this award function in Mumbai. There are a good number of participants for two awards. That is, one is PMO leader, wherein PMO leader focuses on uh, an organization which has proven ability and proven track record of how their management office in an organization is flourishing and how they have established it. And PMO leader of the year is for an individual who has done a lot of contribution on areas like project management office across India and across the globe. So these are the two flagship events we organize. There are a few more things we are coming up. Last year we published a research report from PMOGA India Hub on the importance and significance of PMOs across India, and we are continuing to do the research, and we are coming up with our next set of report very shortly. So this is the background about PMO Global Alliance and PMO India Hub. We have a very good or esteemed office bearers, Gaurav. I call upon Gaurav, who is the president of PMO Global Alliance India Hub, uh, to do the welcome address to Cecilia. Just before that, Gaurav, one more important point. I kind of missed it. We wholeheartedly thank PlanView for supporting us on this event. PlanView was our esteemed sponsor for the PMO GA 2022, PMO GA Awards 2022 for India Hub, and most importantly, there is like I have been mentioning on most of my communications or our communication, the LinkedIn channels. There is a brownie point here for all these participants. You will have a 30-day trial access of PlanView's collaborative workforce management system, where once after this meet or session is over, maybe towards the end of the day or early tomorrow, we will share the access to you all, so you can have experience the PlanView's state of art technology in terms of the software. Now I give it up to Gaurav. Gaurav, over to you.
Thank you, Sri. Thanks for the introduction. And I see a very good number of participants. So I think this is a great source of inspiration and encouragement for us. Thank you to all the participants. And today we have a leader who has been associated with us for the last more than 1 year. And this leader is having enormous amount of experience not only in the project management or PMO space, but she has been very instrumental in driving the technology related projects in banking, financial domain, and even logistics. So it is none other than Cecilia De Silva. So welcome, Cecilia, to this session. And we are very honored and privileged to have you on PMO Insights. So about
Uh,
Cecilia, yeah.
Please.
So
I
I
will
would
be
like
saying thank you, Gaurav.
to. Okay, it's our pleasure. So about Cecilia, she has been currently working as a senior vice president PMO at Kinara Capital, which is again a fintech company, and basically it has a lot of work in terms of providing collateral free loans along with using the latest technologies, how they can provide their solutions to the fintech world in a very innovative way. Apart from this, Kinara has also been very instrumental in the CSR activity, and I believe majority of the population in Kinara is women, and that basically gives a strong indication of women empowerment and supporting women through their initiatives. Right, so that's a very interesting thing. So Cecilia has been having 25 years of rich experience in project program management, and she is also certified project management professional from PMI. She has been result oriented professional who leads by inspiration, embraces challenges, and demonstrates excellent thought and situational leadership. And apart from that, she has been promoting PMO culture in her organization, which gives clearly an indication how they are designing their strategy and how they are executing it. And that's where the role of PMO comes into picture. Prior to Kinara, she has been associated with Oracle, and HSBC also. So where she was taking care of the commercial banking and spearheading operations of HSBC Merchant Services. Of course, Cecilia will share her journey, but this is a brief about it. And I just now would like to give the stage to Cecilia. Over to you, Cecilia, and we look forward for an insightful session from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, and thanks to Shri as well. It's my greatest pleasure to be on this platform and to share my experiences. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everybody a very good evening. It's in India, good evening. So, since people have joined from across, whether it is good morning or good evening or good afternoon, my greetings are always with you. And so basically, as I mentioned in my intro video, I said the learning never ends. So throughout the life we keep learning and then sharing with each other. So I consider this platform today as a stage to share my experiences and see what I can learn as well post the session. I have put together a few slides, and I'll walk you through those slides which will actually tell you what is it that I'm going to talk about. So let me bring up the slides for you in a moment. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So basically, I'm going to talk about the role of PMOs in a fintech world, and I will also cover a little bit about how I got into the PMO world, and how it all started, how I transitioned. So that is basically the context that I would like to set. So the first part is, a couple of slides there which talk about the journey, and then the remaining slides talk about the role of PMOs in a fintech world. I plan to cover this in the next 35 to 40 minutes. So let's see how it goes. So first and foremost, talk about the journey. So aspiration. This is where I'd like to, talk about how it all started. Prior to being a PMO or a project management professional, I was any other stakeholder. And at that point in time, I was just observing how the project management team actually managed the projects. I was just a keen observer, as a stakeholder, and somehow it pushed me. It created an urge in me to pursue PMP certification, and I just wanted to get onto the driver's seat and control the steering and do the navigation. That gives so much fun, right? You can always control things how you want, and of course there are things that go alongside, but nevertheless, being in the driver's seat and controlling the steering and then navigating through the journey is something that I really enjoy. So the thing is, all I want to say is that I transitioned from a normal stakeholder whom we are managing today, and from there to a project management professional. So it's like from one side of the fence to the other side of the fence. So this is shortly my journey relevant to the project management. So I was with HSBC for about 10 years, 2002 to 2012. Then I moved to Oracle, and then I moved to the Kinara Capital Organization, where I'm currently working. So the reason why I called it as road less trodden or road less traveled is because I did not start like a project management in a project management world. So I was, like I said, I was a stakeholder, and then I got curious and eager to get into the project management world, and I'm just happy to share that I'm doing what I'm liking. So that's the path that I have taken. So the next thing that I'm talking about is inspiration or two-way traffic. So the thing is, normally we see, okay, fine. I mean, are we anybody's inspiration, or do we become a role model, or how that works? I mean, this is my experience. I mean, I always feel inspiration is a two-way traffic. As much as you want to see, whether the other person is inspiring you, I'm always mindful that am I inspiring the others? Okay, so I feel it's a two-way traffic. It's like a give and take. You want to see something, then you have to be that person as well. So in terms of inspiration, what I firmly, I mean, these are my thoughts, and then what I firmly believe in is, you have to practice what you preach, because you say something and do just the opposite, it's not going to work for you. So that's where you lose the credibility. So practice what you preach, and actions speak louder than words. Yes, we can say and do so many things, but then, unless you show it, unless you demonstrate, it's a little difficult to be, conveying the message. The next two items I mentioned are lead by example and lead from front. The other day I was explaining to somebody as to what is the difference. In my mind, this is how it is sitting. Lead by example is you actually demonstrate and show, what you're actually trying to say is doable. So that the person is able to learn from you, from what you have done or demonstrated. Leading from front is, you're actually doing you're in the front seat, you're in the driver's seat, and you're taking the initiative to drive that, to lead that. So lead by example and lead from front, that is the distinguished difference that I would like to make here. And to be inspired, what I feel is, let it be any person. I mean, be it in your personal world or in your professional environment, there is something good in everyone. That's what I believe in. We may talk about different people in different situations, but there is always a message, there is always something good that you can pick. So it's always, a person is a combination of good, bad. So it's always good to pick what is good in a person, so that serves you as an inspiration. And many takeaways, it's just that we need to keep watching. Okay, fine, I mean, if you have a closed mind, it's a little difficult to take away something. If you have your mind, ears, eyes closed, then it's really difficult to take away something. So this is exactly what I'm trying to say. How an inspiration works, that it's a two-way traffic. So that was about me. I mean, what I believe, how I got there, and what I believe in. So now how things have evolved, in a fintech world. What I have seen, what I have, tried to achieve, tried to demonstrate. Of course, not single-handedly, with the help of, my fellow team members and colleagues and stakeholders. So the next slide we are talking about is strategy and PMO. So I say two sides of the coin is because if an organization is thinking about a strategy, then there must be somebody who can deliver it for the organization. And generally, it's the project management team or the PMO that actually helps the organization to deliver that value for them through those projects. So from a strategic direction, what we have done and what we normally do is align the projects with the strategic goals. Because if these things run in silos, then it's a little difficult. We will be going into parallel lines that can never meet. Okay, so it's always important that the strategic goals are understood by the project management team, and make sure that there is every effort made to see how the strategy is moving. I mean, it's not that today I see and then I relax like for next 2 to 3 months. I mean, the priorities keep shifting. The strategy keeps shifting. There are so many factors. There are so many regulatory aspects. There are so many customer needs. So today what we are implementing may not hold good like a month down the line, perhaps. So it's very, very important to be glued to the strategy of the organization and see how we need to keep a structure around it, and make sure that we align ourselves with the organization's vision and mission. So when that is the strategic direction, and through the PMO team or the project management team that we are trying to achieve, what kind of value delivery that gives us? I mean, I've just put it very, very broadly. I mean, the list is long, but then, for the sake of this audience and the interest of time, I've just broadly picked up as to what are the things that, in terms of value delivery, when we align ourselves with the strategic goals, what is it that we see? Okay, so basically they drive you to transition the ideas into the desired outcomes. Now the thing is, it's not the output, it's the outcome that the organization is interested in. I mean, output can be anything, major, minor, anything, but then has it brought to us the desired outcome is the question. Okay, so desired outcome is the value delivery that we have seen. And then what are the kind of benefits through this strategy? Because we are driving projects, we are successful. How are the benefits? Who's realizing the benefits? I mean, is it the organization, stakeholders, and most importantly, the customers? The business that we are running is keeping the customers in mind. So it's like a triangular effect wherein you say, all three are benefiting: organization, stakeholders, and the customers. So some of the tried and tested measures that I would like to, talk about how we actually collaborate with the strategy team, and see how we have been able to bring out that value aspect of the value generation. So one is having a robust change control management system. Like I said, goals keep changing, strategic goals keep changing, priorities keep shifting. So how do we manage these changes? And all we know is change is constant. So we cannot tell the business that, look, I'm working on this, I cannot take this. So how do I work around this? I mean, then the question of prioritization. Then you need to work with the organizations, work with the senior management, and then see what is the current priorities and how you shift gears. And governance framework is basically going to help us with that kind of prioritization, resourcing, and maybe the budget, because your priorities are shifting. Then how you actually trying to work around the budget and things like that. The tool, the project management tool, I mean, most important, it's like the live stream or the backbone of the project management team. Yes, we can, so many ways. I mean, you can do the project management by using Excels and things like that. But then what is it that automation can bring you? How everybody can look into the same thing at the same time? How one can keep a tab on the progress? How one can know what is your, risk and things like that. So a tool is something that brings everybody onto the same page, literally. Channelization of energy in the right direction. I mean, this is basically tapping of resources. And how do we, I mean, we might have a lot of energy, a lot of skilled people. It could be our tech teams, it could be our business teams. How do we channelize in the right direction? Because if people are working in silos, then it is a little problem to achieve those desired outcomes. So how do we channelize the energy and take them in the right direction? Cross-functional collaboration. This is one of the most important things, and something that I really enjoy doing. Cross-functional collaboration. One, it helps us to build that working relationship, and where we are actually dependent on the business analysts or the tech teams, tech partners, all of these people, unless we have that cross functional collaboration, it's a little difficult. Again, the challenges that we know today are making sure somebody is available to even ask, clarify your doubt. I mean, do we think this is a scope creep? Or do we think that this is something that we shouldn't be even touching today? Things like that. Communication is so key that until and unless you collaborate and communicate, it's a little difficult to move forward and head in the right direction. Knowledge sharing and development of skills. I mean, as we know that project management office PMO, the project management may not be existing in all the organizations. So when we try to introduce this kind of a setup, and then we try to make it part of the organization, it is important that we actually share knowledge. And while we bring or promote that PMO culture, we need to make sure that those people understand. I mean, some of that could be jargon for some of the people that who work with you. So you need to bring them up to speed and make sure the skills are developed. And if you're using a tool, the techniques that you use, everybody needs to be brought up to speed. Empower team members to lead the change. Okay, this is something that as a team, we are able to achieve. It's not that the head of the departments needs to run everything. No, I mean, just empower the team members to lead the change so they can do it. I mean, they are skillful, they know, I mean, a little time in the system, they know how to pick it up and keep pace with the overall project management or the governance framework. Allow them to lead the change, because if everybody is focusing on the same thing, then multiple things can't happen at the same time. Then the project maturity achievement. Okay, this is something again reflecting on the same tools and techniques, how we do the on-time project delivery and how we bring in those process efficiencies. So in the beginning, we may be taking those baby steps, and then once we have introduced things, once we have introduced a governance framework, everybody knows what are the kind of tools and techniques. So you keep raising the bar, you keep moving up the ladder, so that maturity comes in. I mean, what I explained like a year ago, I don't have to explain again. So the person will actually explain to somebody else in the team, a newcomer. So this maturity actually builds and improves over a period of time. Strategic support, something that we have provided. I already mentioned about it. How we actually closely work with the strategic product and strategy team, and provide the support. Risk management, I will dwell on that in one of the next few slides, but this is also something that we work closely, and how we manage the risk and what kind of a model that we follow is something that I will explain. Resource management, I mentioned already as to how we channelize the energy and how we manage the resources. I mean, the projects keep, I mean, new projects may come up, current projects may be deferred or put on hold. Again, everything revolving around the strategy per se. Okay, so how do you manage the resources? Or it could be like, if there is a turnover, if there is an emergency, if there is a crunch, how you actually make sure that we don't drop the ball at the end of the day. So that is something that we have been supporting. And quality assurance, one of the biggest pieces, because everything that we develop, until and unless we make sure that it is quality tested, and before it is moved to production, we are absolutely confident that it is bug free, and making sure that we provide that kind of a quality. So I'll move quickly to the tools and techniques. So here I mentioned that it is pilot and autopilot mode. So I will quickly tell. I mean, basically, I want to say how you pick things up, and before you pick a product, or before you pick any kind of a tool. Here in the context of project management that I'm talking, before you pick a tool, you need to get into a pilot mode. I mean, this is something that is tried and tested. Basically, I mean, it's just that somebody comes and demos to you. You're not going to take it up at face value, because you do not know, maybe that product is suitable for another organization, probably it's not suitable for my organization. So the thing is, whether it is working for you or not, how do you do basically, once you have done your comparisons, walkthrough, try it out with a smaller group of people, and maybe you can pick and use it to see how it works for you. Pick some mini projects or minor enhancements, and just see that whether it is able to provide you the kind of stuff that you're looking for. and is the ease of navigation, and when you're managing projects, how does it look for task management? Does it give me the reports? Issue management, does it tell me what is the severity, what is the classification? And if I have to take a dump of the report, if I have to just do the tracking, does it really work for me? Okay, so once you have done that kind of a pilot, completed that kind of a pilot phase, then you actually do the final rollout. Otherwise, it's going to waste your time, energy, and resources getting whole hog into the new tool, just like that. So in the autopilot mode, I mean, once we have done that kind of a rollout, I mean, tried and tested, what it has done for us is, basically it has optimized the performance. It has basically done all those things, but we are already familiar with, your planning, your tracking, and how it collaborates, how we can do the collaboration, because everybody is looking at the same tool, everybody is looking at the same software, and trying to see where the project stands and what kind of issues are there, and things like that. And you don't have to always, I mean, they're not always dependent on you to monitor the progress, to get an update on the progress. This is what I call as autopilot mode. I mean, there is no dependency. The tool is there, they know how to use it. Just get there and see what project you're looking for, and just get the status, I mean, the real time status. Okay. And once it is on that autopilot mode, where assistance is like zero or minimal, then we see how you upgrade, because every product has its own enhancements, right? Then you keep saying how you upgrade, what kind of customization is required. So you kind of transition from the pilot phase to the autopilot phase. So that was one project management tool what was tried and tested. The other thing is the standardization of project documents. So we use day in and day out so many documents. It could be like a BRD, business requirement document, or it could be a tech design document. So the thing is, when you have so many tech members, if each person, and the business analyst, if each person comes up with his own or her own way of documenting things, then it's there is no standard. When there is no standard, that it is all over the place. So the thing is that introduce, simplify this templates, standardize, and customize. Because once you standardize, maybe we have to customize it like for a different category. I mean, just an example: a tech design document or template that was designed recently. We felt that okay, for a completely new product, we need to have this kind of a design document template. For a major enhancement, this is how it has to be. For a fast track or a mini project, this is a kind of template. So that is what I mean by customization, but not going out of the standardization per se. Okay. And then once people in the autopilot mode, when people start using the templates, then that gets into the circulation. In some cases where the organizations have the the upload of the documents also can happen. And then it's quite possible that when you have these templates being used, maybe a year down the line, there's a time to revisit. Then again you do the standardization, and then put it back into the stream. Talking about the challenges and roadblocks. I mean, the thing is, I always feel this. Okay, fine, you have to catch the bull by its horns. Otherwise, it's going to run away, or hurt you or damage. So that is the image that I have in the mind. So some of the aspects that have helped us in managing these challenges and roadblocks. First of all, expect the unexpected. Okay, so in a project world, quite often we know, I mean, from past experience, we know that what kind of issues can come up. We know the kind of contingencies, the resources. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be the turnover crunch, emergencies, COVID can happen. Okay, so these are some of the things. I mean, I still remember that, despite COVID, because of the good resource management that we had, we made sure that we were actually on time for the go live. So if we know what our challenges or what our roadblocks can be, then if you're on top of it, then it is not very challenging actually to tackle them. So the thing is that expect the unexpected and classify by severity. I mean, something that is known to us, but unless we do this, I mean, we have seen this. I mean, if there is a problem, we need to see how big the beast is, basically. Otherwise, how you're going to tackle it. Okay, so is it a showstopper? Is it a minor or major kind of a severity? And more often than not, we come up whenever there is delivery that has happened. People do, when there is user testing, people tend to come up with their log as issues, but then these kind could be enhancement, something out of the scope. A real defect you need to really identify. So it's very, very crucial, because somebody may just beat around the bush and then say that it's not working. Okay, so then we need to understand whether it is a real defect or whether it is an enhancement. So the stakeholder or whoever is raised that as a roadblock needs to be clarified. Again, solution providers, I mean, in my world, I have seen that the solution can come from either internal folks, or it could be external tech partners, or it could be a combination of both, because sometimes when the development happens, we might have dev teams working within the organization, and then for the purpose of complete development, there might be a dependency on an outside or an external tech partner. And then for you to be able to build that product, you need to make sure that the solution has to come. So when there is a challenge or a roadblock, and we cannot generalize, is it something that needs to be solved by the internal team, or is it something to be solved by the external, or is it a combination of both? So this is something that is very important. Review and reporting, daily updates we do share, but then yes, sometimes it may get noticed, sometimes it may not, because it may get lost in your mailbox. So the thing is that we never stop sending the daily updates nevertheless. But escalations, I mean, how do you flag those red alerts? It's quite important to make sure that these escalations happen, because unless, I mean, it's like this, right? I mean, a patient in an ICU gets that immediate treatment because the patient is critical. So likewise, I mean, when it is literally burning, then it's nothing but an escalation that can actually come your way. And the timelines, like when we get the solution from the solution providers, most importantly, what is the thing? I mean, sometimes you get to hear that, okay, we'll look into it and come back, but when will you come back is the question. So a committed ETA, and whether it is actually met or not. So basically, all I'm trying to summarize here is that the challenges and roadblocks, we have to literally be on top of it, and unless with that conviction we tackle, it's going to be really challenging to get there. But otherwise, if you know how deep the waters is, I think swimming is not a challenge. Then the risk management. So I mean, in our life, we know that whether it's the personal situation, or whether it is a professional environment, risk is always there in life, and one cannot really run away from it. So the best thing is to see how to tackle it and what should be done. So what we have followed, I mean, in a fintech world is, a process, a risk management process, basically. I mean, I'm sure many organizations do this, but if we have the process, then it is it is something that you need to follow step by step. Excuse me. So starting from identification of the risk, I mean, that is where you identify what exactly is your problem. Then you move through the analysis. You prioritize those risks, because there could be like 10 risks or 15 risks. I mean, do we go in a sequential order, or do we prioritize what is actually burning, and what is it that you need to address first? And we assign, monitor, and report those risks. Risk management process alignment. Now the thing is that if just the project management team or the PMO team knows the process and sits with it, it's not going to help. Everybody needs to know what kind of a process is running here. So if they know This is the type of risk that has been flagged up. How to where to look for it and what are the indicators. So basically we need to align all of the stakeholders, your tech partners, business teams, dev teams, QA teams. I mean, who is day in and day out, whoever is day in and day out looking into the projects. So this is the model that we have, rag status model. I mean, normally it is a red, amber, green, but in the interest of, further classification of the projects, we have identified, I mean, we have come up with the other colors as well in the rack status model to include what is on hold, because sometimes based on the prioritization something gets on hold. So there are some projects which get cancelled or terminated, and some projects, critical projects, literally require a longer post go live support, and any new project that comes in is marked as white, and completed projects tagged as blue, because I mean, of course, we would like to see it as green itself, but then, just to distinguish between what's on target and what's completed, we had to pick a color. So the project goals and focus grip, focus and firm grip. See, the thing is that, I mean, I always believe that, if you want to have a firm grip, you need to know where to focus and what to focus on. They always say that, if you cling on to something, just make sure that you're not clinging on to the wrong thing. So from a project governance model, where our focus needs to be in terms of goals. I mean, this is one of the earlier slides that I mentioned, where strategy and PMO are two sides of the same coin. So that I mean, we can actually correlate to that and see, I mean, that is where our focus should be. And how the project prioritization should be done periodically to align with the strategic goals. Mention I have made about the design meetings is because so much depends on the design. Okay, a project can come up, but then if it is developed not in a way that business wants it, then you literally go for a toss. So the thing is, it's very, very crucial that both the functional and technical designs are taken care of, and we also have a fast track system, because there are things that for mini projects, minor enhancements, there could be a different methodology how you can have a fast track basis, because if it is going through the same rigmarole, then probably it's going to take a longer time. So how do we take a fast track mode for completing these mini projects and minor enhancements? Again, this we need to see where it aligns with the strategy. Just because it can be done quickly, it's not that I'll pick anything and everything. We spoke about the rag, so the focus is there. And in order to have the firm grip, of course, communication is the key. If you don't communicate, things are going to fall here and there, and people may not know what exactly is happening. The stakeholder management is something that we already know. So the other things, I mean, is something that we have been doing. I'm sure everybody is familiar, so I won't go point by point over it. So I'll just leave it at that. So basically, the firm grip is something that we need to have on all of these aspects. Okay, support system. A support system is something all of us would like to have. Okay, fine. It works for us in terms of contingency. It could be the age, it could be the situation, personal or professional. Who doesn't need support? Okay, so a strong support in a project management world also, and something that we have experienced in the fintech world also. It helps with the smooth implementation of the projects. And how do you build one? Because it's not that, okay, fine, we have a project team and then we have X number of people. We know the dev team, we know the quality assurance team. Okay, we can do it. No, that's not going to work, because we are believing in a collaborative environment. We are believing in cross-functional support. So it is important to build one. So in order to build, we need to know who are the stakeholders. It could be internal and external, a combination of both in some cases. Okay, so familiarize them. I mean, how the support system is built. Like I said, I mean, we cannot work in an alien world. So everybody needs to know, everybody needs to understand how the whole system is working. So the governance framework that you have implemented, somebody who's there in the business, and looking for the project to come up should know actually how it works. It's somebody raises a CRF, it's not that tomorrow it's going to be picked up. So the change control management system should be understood by all the stakeholders, everyone in the organization, and prioritization of projects. Okay, so there is always a feeling that I raised it on like 1st of January, so I haven't seen it yet. So the thing is that when we are aligning ourselves with the strategy, one needs to clearly understand the prioritization of projects is done based on the strategic goals. So it doesn't work on first come first serve basis. And customized training and coaching, again, for them to understand, for the stakeholders to understand as to how things work, how the tools and techniques are working, how the governance framework is working, because we need to be a little patient with them and then bring them up to speed through coaching and mentoring. uh, when we have implemented this support system, this is what we have seen. It is increasing the improving the knowledge levels, building the professionals, and we are working like it's removing so much of confusion, ambiguity. It's building good, extremely good stakeholder relationship, and more importantly, it has that rigor and discipline. This is what we will do, this is how we will do, this is when we will do, so everybody knows it, so everybody is on the same picture. You don't have to tell everybody that stereotyped answer as to what things work, how things work. This is one of my favorite slides. I mean, like I said, I mean, I moved from a non-PMO world into a PMO world. So now I'm very keen to, promote this PMO culture. And I feel it's a way of corporate life. I mean, there is no running away from it. Okay. So as I've mentioned over there, it's new to many. It's not that everybody understand how this works, and familiar to just few, but one needs to know as to needs to know that the benefits are many in number. So how we have promoted in a fintech world, how we have promoted the PMO culture is through a robust project governance framework. Obviously, everything revolves around the PMI standards, processes, and ethics. There is no two ways about it. And alignment of projects with the strategic goals, as I mentioned, and all of these things, how priorities shift, how coaching, mentoring, all of these things have been literally implemented, because you can put it down on paper, but then if it is not translated into action, like I said, actions speak louder than words. So this all these are tried and tested, and we have literally seen these benefits. When you promote this PMO culture, I mean, these are the benefits that we have actually yielded through the course of the years. A collaborative environment, and we have well designed approaches, and how it actually augments unity, because we are not working in silos anymore. Everybody understands the perception about project management and how it needs to be practiced has so much changed over a period of time, because everybody understands how it actually works. And most importantly, I mean, the last bullet that I want to highlight on balanced and appropriate relationship, because when there are too many projects going on, I mean, the stakeholders, if they're not happy, they understand why it is not moving, and what needs to be done. There could be so many factors. So when they know that a system works like this, then they know as to how and what they should, how they should actually approach the way they look at the projects. This is one quick thing. I mean, while I was, familiarizing myself with some of the tools, I mean, an interesting thing, platform that came up was the PlanView, and I'm actually thankful to PlanView team, also company, who have sponsored this event for us. So I would like to just dwell a little bit on this as to how this PlanView platform has, it works. I mean, how it works for different different situations. So I won't dwell more on that, but then I just want you to look at the top picture and the bottom picture. So basically, you have the strategy and planning, and on the right hand side you have the delivery and results, and in between you can see things are breaking due to the change or the uncertainty. There is no alignment, there are disconnects. So how this all these are pieced together, and then how the plan view actually can help us move seamlessly from strategy to successful delivery is something that I would like to recommend people to explore. Okay, before I close, this is something that I had put about a year ago. I mean, we had another session with the PMO. I mean, that was organized by the PMO India Hub itself. I mean, that is when I had mentioned this line. So it keeps lingering in my mind. I thought, okay, let me just bring it up again. So I always say that open your eyes to see the strategy and business goals. Open your eyes to listen to your stakeholders. Open your mind to embrace change. At the end of the day, time and tide don't wait for anybody. So, on that note, I would like to thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for giving us those amazing insights. I think we have a good number of questions for us to take it up. I will probably start with the first interesting question raised by, I think it is Nimit, but how does one transit from non PMO role to PMO role?
Yeah, interesting question. Thanks, Nimit, for asking this question. See, first and foremost, you need to have a certification. I mean, yes, through practice of project management, you will know. It's like this. I mean, how do you do swimming? Okay, so you can watch a YouTube video. You can just try, jump into the water and then just try yourself swimming. But are you doing it in a proper way? Are you following the methodology or not is the question. So it's only a trained instructor, I mean an instructor who can actually train you well to see that this is how you need to swim. Otherwise you could damage yourself somewhere. Okay, so the thing is that a certification can always help you, but a certification, even for a certification, you need to have project management experience, because a PMP certification is not given if you're a non project manager. So you need to have a project manager. It only certifies you as a project manager. It doesn't make you a project manager. So that is a difference. Okay, so you need to have prior experience of project management and get a certification, and that's how you enter.
I think you answered that second question, Nimit's second question as well. It was, is PMP certification necessary?
So, additionally, I believe Cecilia very well said about how a non-PMO person can be transitioned to PMO role. So, I also answered Nimit's question on the chat. So, from my viewpoint, it's also about the strategic thinking, apart from the project management skills, which are very much required, right? So, in case we do not build or develop that strategic thinking, how to align your projects with the overall strategy of the organization, I believe that is the most important part where many PMOs actually fail. So, if we bring that aspect also along with project management, I think it would be an icing on the cake. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I, I'm just taking up a couple of questions we have. I think a few questions are from Gaurav itself. So, just showcasing this, which techniques, tools you use for prioritization of the projects?
See, the tools that we have, I mean, the project management tool that we use currently, we already have a priority field in that. Okay, so there also we mention as P0, P1, P2, P3. So every project that is created, basically we have two different tools. Let me begin this way. So we have a tool which actually helps you log a change request. Okay, and then the CRF it is approved, then it moves to the Zoho project. I mean project management tool. So it moves from the change control management system, and it comes to the actual project management thing. That is where, I mean, we have access to both. A platform where the CRF is raised, a platform where the projects are actually to be viewed and managed.
Yeah.
And when the CRF is raised, actually the priority is recommended. So that is how we get the direction. But just because somebody is, I mean, the person initiator raises it, and the department head looks at it, and then the committee actually approval committee actually reviews and approves it. So at that point of time, the priority is actually confirmed. And then within the priority, we also have something called as stack ranking. So both the fields are there. Like if we have P zeros, I mean, there could be like 15 P zeros. How do we pick? I mean, all those. So within a priority, we still have a stack ranking done. So for the benefit of all the teams, for a functional design or a tech design, everybody looks at that particular project management tool. So everybody is now equipped. Everybody is trained to see, how to pick projects, what should be worked upon first, and what should be picked up next. So they look at the tool, and then they take it forward from there. So basically, that is how that's the tool that we use. The project management tool itself caters to that.
Great. So, yeah, there was another question by Gaurav itself. Does risk identification and mitigation process in a fintech world different from other sectors, and how PMOs can support it?
Yes, see, the thing is that because we are in a fintech world, there is a regulatory aspect there. So the thing is, there are certain times, where the risk can be higher. It could be an RBI compliance, or it could be a norm that is set. Just the previous night or the previous day, that there's an RBI circular. There could be so many things, compliance related, regulatory related. Okay, so the PMO understands these urgent requirements. We quickly collaborate with the dev teams, the tech partners, and then see how quickly this can be, turned around. And of course, since we are in a fintech world, our other tech partners, our tech teams are quite cooperative, and they understand where things are coming from. So we don't have to explain. The moment we say this is regulatory, this is compliance related, they jump onto it, and they know how to prioritize it. So yes, in a fintech world, I mean, this is something that is different from that could be different from the other organizations.
Great. There is one more follow-up question, Cecilia, on the same lines what Gaurav asked for. So, if this is from Pallavi, if in addition to Gaurav's question, if risk differs in fintech world, then please help us with the type of risk that can occur in fintech. I think slightly you have covered it, right? The RBI mandate and regulations, that itself is a type of risk which comes in, and
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Otherwise, the basic risks that we have, people, process, systems. I mean, these could be common, like any other organization. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, these regulatory aspects, compliance matters. They could. I mean, they keep us on our toes and make sure that we have to literally implement that as quickly as possible and before the timeline is over. So there is no negotiation on that.
thank you. I think there is a couple of more questions, so I'll just take one for now. It is from Sandeep Mitra. What are the challenges in implementing PMO culture when you don't have proper sponsorship?
See, regardless of the sponsorship, it is a challenge because when it is new, because many people, I mean, at least now, a few years ago, people were not even aware of something like a PMO. Because when you see there's so many departments that are common, I mean, that sales, credit, HR, IT, all these departments are common across the organization. PMO, what is it? Okay, so it starts from there. Okay, so it starts from literally giving the full form of the abbreviation, saying it's project management office. Starting from there, how you actually bring in that culture. First and foremost, trying to say, what works, why you need it. Like I mentioned earlier, for the bringing the PMO culture, what are the things that we had to do? Because project governance, if they didn't know about PMO, then the governance framework is something that they need to literally understand. So in layman's terms, you need to explain to them that, this is how it is, this is how the whole framework works. So when they and correlate that with examples, real time, because they would have seen some projects, but then a structured approach, a governance framework, and for them to understand, that coaching and mentoring and being a little patient, because they come from a different world, because it is not commonly known. And once they have understood, they're quick to actually adapt. So the initial challenges are there in terms of, first of all, creating awareness and bringing in that complete understanding, building knowledge, and making sure the whole system works. Again, I just go back to my favorite, pilot and autopilot. So when you have piloted that in an autopilot world, so when we started with the PMO team, that is how it used to be. And now we are literally in that autopilot mode where, project maturity has improved, and the PMO culture is like working really well.
Great.
So
Thank you so
doesn't
much.
matter if sponsorship, the challenges always remain, with sponsorship and without sponsorship.
Good one. Thank you so much, Cecilia. I think there were like quite interesting questions, and you really gave it a good shot on those. Now we have come to almost the final stages of this session. So I would like to call upon people from Planview. I think if Jalaj is there on the call.
So I don't think so. Actually, he was traveling, so we
Okay.
don't have Jalaj. But I have shared the link to the trial version of collaborative work management solution, and I would urge all the participants to evaluate it and give their feedback to PlanView. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Gaurav said, is there
Yeah.
on the
Once again, I'd like to thank PMOGA India Hub, especially. It's a brilliant idea, to bring people onto this forum and then share ideas and experiences. Thanks for bringing me onto this platform today. Really enjoyed.
You are most welcome, Cecilia, and we as well really enjoyed uh, your analogies, the way you moved, transformed from a non PMO to a PMO, and now leading the PMO with a fintech industry. It's a very impressive and inspiring journey of yours. Definitely, it will have a very good impact on all our listeners, and I think one part of your presentation which I was really taken away was that risk management. You said you will cover it later, but I was eagerly waiting for it. Than the regular WAG status, right? There are a couple of other risk status which you got in. That was like, quite impressive. I think many of us have taken up some inputs from this and will start implementing in our day-to-day lives, especially on the PMO area. So, with this, I would now call upon Priyanka. Priyanka is our fellow volunteer with the PMOGA India Hub to share the vote of thanks. Over to you, Priyanka.
Yeah, thank you, Shri. Thank you for calling me upon. So, first of all, I would really like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who attended the PMO Insights event. I hope you all found it informative and engaging. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to our esteemed speaker, Cecilia De Silva, for sharing her valuable insights and experiences with us. Her session has certainly added immense value to all of us, that's for sure. Then I would also like to express my appreciation to the PMOGA India Hub board members, starting with Gaurav, the president of PMOGA India Hub, Karthik, Indian ambassador, and Gaurang, senior director, for taking the initiative to collaborate with all of us today and bring such an informative event to our PMO community through PMOGA India platform, and to our volunteers. A special thanks to Jalaj and the team from Planview for their support and providing the attendees with a 30-day free trial of their collaborative work management solution. And last but not the least, thank you to our wonderful audience for making this event so lively and interactive. Your participation and engagement have made this event a resounding success. And all of your questions was really, like it was seeming like you all attended this event seriously, and I hope you are taking something with you to share with your colleagues and with your friends. And once again, thank you for thank you all of us for making this event such a memorable and insightful experience. Thank you so much.
Amazing, Priyanka. Hey, thank you so much for the word of thanks. I think we are good, everyone. I really enjoyed this session. I hope you also enjoyed this session. Please pass it on this information that there is a community called as PMO India Hub, PMO Global Alliance India Hub, which is focused for PMO professionals. And share this with your colleagues, your friends, so that we can meet you on our next PMO Insight sessions. Thank you and have a great evening. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you all.